The Pro Controller is great. It's a solid traditional gamepad that gets the job done. But I just found one that not only matches it feature for feature, including HD Rumble, NFC for Amiibo, and even the ability to wake the Switch too, but also brings more to the table and somehow costs much less. This is the S10 by EasySMX. I come across a lot of controllers, but recently I've been checking out brands that I've missed, and one that keeps popping up is EasySMX. They reached out and were awesome enough to send over their latest controller, the S10. In the box we have a USB-C cable, an extra frosted magnetic faceplate, an interchangeable cross D-pad, shiny holographic stickers, and the S10 itself. As for colors, it's available in Moonlight White or Obsidian Black. On the initial first squeeze, it feels very solid, great build quality, very sturdy in hand, nothing about it feels loose, hollow, or cheap. A great start. On the top of the left grip, we've got a nameplate or badge with the EasySMX S10 branding. Sort of cool, never seen that before. The grip is about a medium size with a nice curve. On the back, we have an aggressive texture that's very grippy and just locks your hands into place. On the front, we have the magnetic faceplate. The first is frosted with these flowy white lines. It pops off with this ridge at the top. And the other is plain, so you can use it with either the included holographic stickers that aren't really my style. I'm more of a Lisa Frank kind of guy. Or you can, of course, use your own. And I did see custom faceplates out there, but they're currently not available. They also don't have print templates, but I'm hoping they'll add one soon so we can make our own. The S10 is compatible with PC, Steam Deck, iOS, Android, as well as the Switch 1, and of course the Switch 2, which is what I'll be focusing on. It connects via Bluetooth with a claimed polling rate of 125 to a max 250 Hz, and it can reach up to 1000 Hz in wired mode, but only on PC. It's much less on the Switch and Switch 2. Regardless, I don't have the equipment to verify those numbers, but on the Switch 2, whether it was wired or wireless, I couldn't really sense any noticeable latency. Then, on the inside, it has a 1200 milliamp battery that should give you roughly 15 to 20 hours, and it charges via the USB-C port at the top, so yes, you can use it while charging. As expected, we have the usual system buttons, minus and plus up top. Down here on the edge, there's capture, home, and in the middle, the C button for game chat, but it's actually a macro that takes you home and then goes down and opens the app. I'm guessing they couldn't map it, but hopefully when they figure it out, they can update it. On the back, we have a mode switch that lets you toggle between switch and X input. And right next to it is an M or mode button for things like turbo, macros, and lighting. Now, the main face buttons are medium-sized, they're flat with white printed letters in the Nintendo layout, and they're satisfyingly clicky. They're what they call advanced mecha buttons, so yes, they're a bit noisy, but they do try to dampen them with a liquid silicone underneath, so when you bottom out, it's not a harsh stop. You actually feel a bit of bounce, and they reset just about instantly. They're rated for an ultra-fast 0.3mm actuation distance, and this makes them perfect to spam. They're really fun to use, but more importantly, very responsive. Next, it comes with two swappable D-pads, a dish style and a traditional cross one. And they're designed so they can only go in one orientation, so you can't mess this up. At the top, the D-pad has a little groove for your nail to slip in so you can easily pop it out. Regardless of which you go with, it's clicky, which helps confirm every actuation in use, including the angles. They both also have a short travel distance with a minimal amount of resistance, which does make it a bit sensitive. Combine that with a slightly smaller size, and it can be easy to slip into those angles, which means you may run into the occasional accidental input. Now, the cross D-pad has a slight curve with rounded corners and a minimal texture. It works well, but like I said, that smaller size with my big hands did take time to warm up to. My personal favorite is the dish style pad. It just makes it much easier to roll from one direction to another without getting caught in those corners. Feels more like an analog stick in that sense, and it's much easier for combos in fighting games. The analog sticks are very solid, no wobble or loose play at all. They reset nice and fast. The clearance around them is perfect too. They're a standard height with medium stems, which gives us a normal travel distance. The tops curve inward, and they're a hard plastic with a very aggressive texture that really sticks to your fingerprints. They're one of the grippiest I've used in a while. Clicking them does take a little bit more pressure than I'm used to, but that can actually help you avoid accidentally pressing them. They glide smoothly with a decent amount of resistance, and they're very snappy. They use TMR sensors, which means you're much less likely to experience drift. They're also supposed to be more energy efficient and precise, which does feel like the case. So far, they've been very responsive and accurate. But it does get better because I found 0 signs of snapback, and they also have a very minimal dead zone. The bumpers are an average height and they taper out towards the ends. They're very bouncy and work across the entire button, but they actuate at about halfway through their travel distance. The triggers are a nice size with a sharp upper curve for your fingers to rest on. No, they're not analog, they're digital, and although it looks like they'd have a long travel distance, it's actually very short, which is what I prefer for the Switch. Same as the shoulder buttons, they also work well across the entire button. The back paddles are positioned a bit higher up the grips, and they have a very tactile actuation. On the edge towards your finger, they have this lip, which helps you easily access it by simply squeezing the handles, and they have a medium resistance, so you don't have to worry about them accidentally going off all the time. The S10 also has lighting. First, we have the EasySMX icon at the top, which is more of a notification LED. Then we have these light strips along the bottom left and right edges of the faceplate. If you hold the M button for a few seconds, you enter lighting mode. From here, you can cycle through the 5 different effects using the left analog stick, and you can adjust brightness by pressing the stick in. There's a cycling mode, a breathing mode that pulses in and out and you can change those colors, solid color that you can change between, another cycling RGB mode but at a different angle, and yes, you can just turn it off to save battery. As for features, there's a lot. First, we have the run-of-the-mill motion controls. They work well, very accurate. But then we have a few rare additions such as actual HD rumble, works very similar to the Pro Controller 2, where you can feel that immersive, detailed, and dynamic feedback. There's also NFC for Amiibo, which doesn't hurt, and it can even wake the Switch too. I think it's one of the first third-party controllers I've tried that can actually do that. We also have on-the-fly turbo, which is super easy to use. You just hold the M button, press the button you want to assign to it, and now it's a turbo button which repeats the input until you let go. Do it again and it becomes an auto turbo, so press it once to turn it on and again to turn it off. And the best part is that you can assign either of those turbo modes simultaneously to as many buttons as you want, including the D-pad directions. Very simple, very handy, and it just works. Now on the Switch, it's detected as a Switch 1 Pro controller, so yes, you can map it through the console, but let's talk back buttons. Now with the M button, you can also assign a button or macro to the paddles. You just hold it down and press the paddle you want to remap. The icon will start blinking, and then you can either press the button you want to assign it to, or record up to a 5-second macro, and then press the same paddle again to lock it in. Now it's binded and you're good to go. Super useful feature. It's crazy to see how far third-party controllers have gone. They just keep getting better, but by throwing in NFC and HD rumble, along with super easy to use turbo and macros, the EasySMX S10 is an awesome alternative to the Pro Controller 2 that somehow costs less. The S10 currently has an MSRP of $60. That's $30 less than the Pro Controller 2, but EasySMX is going further by hooking you guys up with a discount. On their official website, you can save 18% off with our code, and they'll reach out to the first 20 customers to let you create your own custom faceplate. Then over on Amazon, you can save 20% off with another code, which currently stacks with their current 15% coupon for a total of 35% off. So if you want to pick one up for yourself while saving money and supporting us at the same time, please check the affiliate links in the description below. Once again, this is Sergio IM. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you for the next box. If you like this video and want to help us out, click that thumbs up button and leave a comment below so we can talk. Now, if you want to go further, subscribe and ding the bell to stay notified whenever we post a new video. You made it to the end, and I just want you to know that you are the reason we do what we do. This is Sergio IM, and I'll see you for the next box.